we're looking at, because they're really pretty stunning. You have call for number one. Donald Trump obviously still in the lead, but the biggest jump here you had between June and now, Vivek Ramaswamy go from 5% to 11%. David, what do you think made that happen?
Well, he's saying things that Americans, particularly Republicans, want to hear in his message, whether it be his tough stance on our foreign adversaries, whether it be his belief that government is being used to weaponize political opponents. It's things Republicans ultimately believe. And so he's saying what they believe. His challenge going into next week is he's actually never publicly debated in a presidential forum.
And he's not preparing, he says.
Well, we're going to find out next week how he goes, because he gets one chance to go make a first impression, which is what he will be doing for many Republicans.
Yeah, I think he probably comes from the school of life prepares you for the debate. I want to jump to call for number 3 here, because Vivek Ramaswamy's ascendancy and other candidates in the GOP nominating contest portend potential trouble for Joe Biden, because here's how they stack up against Joe Biden. If Donald Trump is the nominee, 44% would vote for Biden, 41% for Trump. But look at this. All of the other ones are within spitting distance, Kevin, and Joe Biden's not getting any more popular.
Well, John, as a Democrat on this panel, it's good to see that the president is leading, even if it is between 3 and 6 points at this point. But again, that's what general elections look like in this country, anywhere between 3 and 6%. But listen, I'm excited to watch the debate next week. I think it's going to be interesting to see how the field shakes out. To Jackie's question, I think it was that Eminem rap that Vivek did at the Iowa State Fair that maybe propelled him to those 11 points. But certainly it's going to be anyone's guess who comes out of that pack to face the incumbent president.
Well, to go to some of the things that Ramaswamy has said, I want to play some sound for you, because there is one exchange that's gone viral. It's gotten a lot of attention. Let's hear it.
I don't think that somebody who's religious should be forced to officiate a wedding that they disagree with. I don't think somebody who is a woman who's worked really hard for her achievements should be forced to compete against a biological man in a swim competition. I don't think that somebody who's a woman that respects her bodily autonomy and dignity should be forced to change clothes in a locker room with a man. That's not freedom, that's oppression.
Think he handled that well, David?
Well, he's in line with what many Republicans already believe as he's trying to work through the primary. In fact, we just had the report where the North Carolina legislature just overrode Governor Cooper's veto of their transgender bill, saying that men and women have to be in separate sports. So he's saying ultimately what many Republicans believe. My advice, though, to all of these candidates, they're going to want to go in next week and talk about woke, and they need to be talking about wages as we continue to see things costing more and more. And it is Joe Biden's biggest problem, which is his handling of the economy. He's at 36%. 2/3 of Americans think he's doing a bad job on the economy. That's lower than his overall rating. We need to make this campaign about the terrible shape Joe Biden has put our economy.
You know, Kevin, yesterday we had Joe Biden celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act, which even many White House staffers and Biden has said doesn't have so much to do with inflation reduction as it did promoting green energy. And he's touting Bidenomics at every opportunity he gets. Yet, as David points out, there are so many people who are hurting. It's costing $709 extra a month because of inflation. Inflation's coming down. Prices are still high, though. Price of gasoline, as we just talked about with Charles Payne, is going up. These are not good indicators for an incumbent who wants to get reelected and has already very low approval rating.
Well, John, to your point, I think that's why this White House is focusing so much on touting new infrastructure investments, new manufacturing investments, this job growth that we're seeing, and a lot of it taking place in red conservative districts, right? They're the ones that are actually spurring this manufacturing investment economy. And I think, you know, to your point, the president needs to do more to flip that tide when it comes to how folks are feeling, to be empathetic in terms of rising costs in certain sectors, but also talk about what the president can tangibly do and has done to reverse that. Well, and I think, you know, if you're seeing the job growth that you're seeing, the manufacturing increase.
Southern Virginia become a cult hero for the song that he sings about the plight of working people.
Well, again, and I think you need to campaign where people are feeling the most, and that's why he was in Milwaukee just this last week, tackling issues like inflation, because no one wants to be beating up the economy. You got to be a cheerleader for the economy, and that's what this president is doing. I think one of the more interesting things I saw is 55% of registered Republican voters say their economic economic position is either strong or excellent, but those 77% of those same Republican voters say Joe Biden is doing a terrible job on the economy. So I think we view the economy through partisan lenses, unfortunately, and I think that's what you're seeing with that number and why it's so low for the president.
Should he rename the Inflation Reduction Act?
Hey, that's how we had to get it passed, Jackie. At the time. I'm the first one to admit it. That's how we had to get it passed.
So you think it was not right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We talked about that on Fox a year ago when we were talking about it.
Well, at least we got the truth out of you.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
It's not helped Joe Manchin in West Virginia. His approval rating is still in the tank, as he was one of the big advocates for the President's Reduction Act and inflation.
That's going to be a tough race over
It is.
Yeah, it is.
David, Kevin, great to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you both.
A good Samaritan killed while helping victims